People call boxing limited. Only punches, no kicks, no takedowns. But that's exactly why boxing is so lethal in MMA. Because boxing is the art of doing violence inside a tiny phone booth and making it look like you're barely trying. Boxing doesn't teach you how to punch, it teaches you the three things MMA striking secretly relies on: range control, who is close enough to score; timing theft, hitting you during your own action; and angle economics, moving 1 inch to make you miss 1 foot. In spiral combat terms, boxing is line management. The straight line is the fastest path to damage, so boxing builds a whole civilization around one question: how do I stay on my line while making you collide with it? Now, here's the history. Boxing is ancient in the most literal sense. You can find fist fighting depicted in Sumer and Egypt thousands of years ago. Then, in ancient Greece, boxing becomes a formal sport and it's brutal. No rounds, minimal rules, and the goal is basically outlast the body. But modern boxing crystallizes in 18th and 19th century England. First, you get the bare knuckle era, chaos with a gentleman mask. Then, the Marquis of Queensberry rules bring gloves, rounds, and structure. And that structure does something very important. It turns fighting into a science of repetition under pressure. Because when gloves exist, you can spar more. When you spar more, you can refine micro timings. When you refine micro timings, you create what looks like magic. Slip by millimeters, counter by milliseconds, punish the exact moment a man thinks he's safe. Then MMA arrives and boxing has to evolve again. Pure boxing stance gets eaten by kicks and takedowns, so MMA boxing becomes its own species. Wider base, hands positioned to defend takedown entries, punches that set up level changes and clinches, exits that avoid the fence because the fence is where boxing dies. And here is the uncomfortable truth. Wrestling decides where the fight happens, but boxing often decides who's afraid to be there. Because once a man feels your jab isn't a jab, but a ruler that measures his soul, he starts hesitating. And hesitation is the real knockout. Comment down below next if you want the next martial art breakdown.